first time at the Chinese consulate here in Toronto. I found out recently that I had faced a cyber attack on my personal email from APT 31, which is Chinese government affiliated. I thought if they wanted to read my emails, I'd just come here and speak to them so they could hear me more directly. It would save them the trouble next time. I want to thank you for your courage, your steadfastness in defense of Tibet and in defense of Canada. The situation, the human rights situation in Tibet is absolutely deplorable. We've heard evidence at the subcommittee on international human rights of what is happening in schools, children stripped away from their families and forcibly indoctrinated. In every aspect of Tibet society, we see how the CCP tries to indoctrinate with communist ideas and undermine Tibetan families, Tibetan faith, and Tibetan freedom. We are here today to stand for Tibetan faith, family, and freedom against the colonial oppression that is happening in Tibet. Now, this is a human rights situation, but it is also a dispute among nations. Tibet is a nation, it is occupied, and I am pleased to report, as many of you know, that in this Parliament, the Canadian Parliament unanimously passed my motion endorsing the middle way approach as a solution to this dispute among nations. Unanimous position of Canada's Parliament. And we need to take that and insist on that and build on that. That is the position of Canada. That is the position of Canada's Parliament. We must be unrelenting in taking this stand for freedom and justice in Tibet and everywhere. I also want to thank you for standing up for Canada, because your advocacy has shone a light on the pernicious problem of foreign interference here in Canada that affects so many different communities. It affects our brothers and sisters in the Chinese community, in the Iranian community, in so many other communities where foreign governments are trying to intimidate and limit the rights and freedoms that people have here in Canada. We must insist that Canadians on Canadian soil, people who are not citizens who are here on Canadian soil, have the right to come to their own considered conclusions about issues, to speak about those issues, and to be able to do so without fear of intimidation or threats against their family members. And this is why we need tough new action on foreign interference. This is why we push the government on a foreign influence registry, and this is why we will continue to push them on the enforcement of measures so that we can protect all of you and protect all people, regardless of their background, to have the freedoms we're supposed to have here in Canada. This is something we need to insist on, and also we need to expel any foreign diplomats that are involved in foreign interference. We need to insist on protecting our freedoms here in Canada. So we stand for Tibet, we stand up for Canada, and thank you for your leadership. Finally, I want to recognize the Tibetan struggle, I believe, is an example to all peoples everywhere who are fighting against injustice. When I first met His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I was struck by his love, his goodwill, and his desire for reconciliation. He spoke no bitterness, he spoke about wanting to have peace, reconciliation, and justice. Tibetans have insisted on that truth and have also built strong democratic institutions in exile. This is the power of your liberation struggle. Constructive, always building, always loving, always seeking the good rather than seeking bitterness and pain for the other. So thank you for how you struggle and how you set an example for all people who are seeking justice and freedom. And we will continue to fight for the middle way as endorsed by Parliament in my motion. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your work. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.